If
one person who is not going to be driving an HGV to help deal with the problems at Felixstowe is the leader of the opposition, Sir Keir Starmer. Because yesterday he got behind the wheel of an HGV in Greater Manchester, putting his driving skills to the test. And yes, he crashed his lorry into a bollard. There's Sir Keir, looking all confident, wearing the kit, and it turned into a complete and utter disaster. He was there at Middleton, and I'm afraid it just all went wrong. He lashed out at the government over a shortage of drivers, but sadly proved his own incompetence. And if he's not able to drive a lorry in public without crashing, many will ask, is he up to running the country? My favourite...
Very good question.
Two people, Harry and Meghan, are now moving into the investment business. Oh, yes, and they've joined an ethical technology company. Well, yes, Ethical are a successful company, or they appear to be a successful company.
Are you serious?
The couple have gone into partnership with them, they've invested money with them, and the firm is pledged to support companies aligned with their values, yes. Well, Ethic is an asset management business. They're focused...
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
...on sustainable investments. But we're told that actually some of the big investments that this firm have made are in the big tech companies. They've got money invested in Twitter, and they've got money...
Wait for it.
...invested also in Facebook. And if Harry and Meghan think, by investing ethically, that somehow that's going to bring them a return, they might be in for a nasty shock. My advice would be, don't...
Here it comes.
Don't buy shares, don't buy stock in anything that Sir Nick Clegg has got to do with. But we'll see how it works out. But maybe they should have taken some advice from Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker, over there in Congress.
Fact.
Pelosi, who's been a member of the House of Representatives in Washington since 1987. Now, she and her husband, Paul, have done rather well because their net assets that she has to declare, in 2018, their net assets were $114 million. Their net assets in 2020, at the end of 2020, were $315 million. Yes, they got up by $200 million over the course of just 3 trading years. And it would appear that Nancy Pelosi is perhaps the best stock picker in the world. She clearly is a financial genius. In fact, she even exercised some options in Microsoft, and that was last year. And she did it just 2 weeks before the US government got a massive contract given to Netflix from the US military, a contract worth
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
$22 billion. And the Pelosi's had exercised options just 2 weeks before. Now, I'm sure that's a complete and utter coincidence. I'm not making any allegations against Nancy Pelosi. I'm sure it's all pure coincidence and that she's just a complete genius. So maybe Harry and Meghan, she's the one to talk to. Can you imagine if anybody even closely related to Donald Trump had conducted a share transaction of that nature? You'd be seeing it all over the world.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
But because it's the Democrats, no one says a thing. Well, here's a real what the Farage moment. The Rolling Stones have said they are dropping Brown Sugar, one of their biggest songs from their US tour. The band will no longer play the number one hit following concerns over references to slavery, rape and black girls. Veteran guitarist Keith Richards confirmed the decision to the LA Times, but said he was confused by people who wanted to bury the track. He questioned whether people understood the song was about the horrors of slavery, and he hopes he'll be able to resurrect it somewhere along the line. And that's what happens. That's how cancel culture works. I think it's their second biggest song, their second biggest track the Rolling Stones ever made. But you get pressurized. You get 10,000 emails from some activist group, and then you're forced into backing down. It's how
you serious?
Cancel culture works. It is corrosive. It is bad news.
Yes.
And when you say
Racism-
things like that, you lose me. I'm like, that's a ridiculous thing to say.
Okay, so I'll explain it. So racism was the building blocks for the transatlantic slave trade, a trade that was funded by the royal family, and they ultimately made their wealth off of the blood, sweat and tears off of enslaved
And
Africans.
it was this country.
Hold on a second.
It was this country that actually led the end of slavery.
Which everyone likes to talk
Hundreds
about.
of
but
years
you
ago,
also-
by the way.
But you also contributed to it. And
Fact.
what you fail to realise is that the legacy of colonialism and slavery and British politeness play a vital role in the perpetuation of covert racism. In other words, the present-day racism that I talk about today, which is in the form of covert racism.
Well, duh.
Would you just say you've described the late Queen as effectively a true racist? You think,
Arguably.
and you think the country is racist?
Wait for it. Here it comes. Almost there.
OK, so if anyone that doesn't think that this country is racist...
No,
please feel
are we
free.
a
Hold on
racist
second.
country?
So I'm going to
Or are
explain
we
it.
a country that actually is remarkably tolerant, has extraordinary multicultural society, but includes some racist people?
Okay,
Which one
so
is it?
So if you don't think this is a racist country, you should probably speak to Diane Abbott, the black footballers who have to contend with racism on a daily basis. Or we can delve into the 85,000 people who reported...
So you're saying
racially
because a few
motivated-
people...
Can I just finish,
Yeah.
please? Or we can delve into the 85,000 people who reported racially motivated hate crimes in 2021, and it's subsequently gone up to 100,000.
Right.
Or we can delve into the 120,000 people who have left their jobs in the last 5 years due to racism. Or we can delve into the quarter of staff and 56% of students within higher education that have to contend with racism. Or if none of those are acceptable,
Would you
I can happily
okay.
show you my plethora
Let me just-
of messages
if I
that I
could ju-
receive after this interview.
I do not dispute for a moment there are vile racists in this country.
Okay.
I don't dispute for a moment if you trawl enough on social media, you'll find them. But I do think they are the ugly little barnacles peering out from rocks. I don't believe that they are actually what this country stands for. I don't believe the vast majority of people in Britain are racist. I don't think we're an institutionally racist country. And I certainly don't think the Queen had a racist bone in her body, which is why she's such a beloved figure in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, right.
So can I just add that, again, I said it to you last time, this country has a very rudimentary understanding of racism, often referring to overt racism as the defining factor for racism.
The problem with covert racism...
That couldn't be even more...
Right, but the
that
trouble with
couldn't be more
covert
incorrect.
racism is you end up with people like Meghan Markle who say, I was a victim of racism, but don't feel they have any compulsion to have to say what actually happened, when it happened, and who said it. And that is, if that's covert racism, the problem with it is there's no hard fact to support it.
But that's the issue with... OK, so firstly, I will preface my statement by saying I agree with you. It should be known. That's a fact. It should be known, and she should make a point of saying it. I really do hope that she does.
Stop it. Get some help.
But ultimately, like I said, this is about her highlighting a truth that many people are failing to acknowledge. And like I
All right,
said...
let me bring back
you
Sharon.
have an odd frame of reference.
Let me bring
when it
back
comes to
Sharon.
racism.
Sharon, look, these are pretty incendiary comments from Iman here, that we are a racist country, that the Queen effectively was a true racist. Covertly
Thank
or
you.
otherwise. I mean, I find those comments pretty offensive. What do you think?
I think that, as in every country in this world, there are a sect that are anti-Semitic racists. There always will be, no matter what.
Fact.
There always will be, because there's good and bad in every race. There's always a little group of these nasty little evil people that dislike someone because of colour or religion. Those are the two main dislikes. So, yes, there is a certain minority in England that are very racist and are very anti-Semitic, okay? And I can say that being a Jew. So the thing is, it's never going to end. It hasn't ended for thousands of years. Why should it end now? But you carry on. You don't give these people a platform. You want to talk about somebody with a platform, Kanye West. He has millions of followers that follow him, that adore him, and will do what he wants them to do.
Are you sure about that?
You see, I
But
actually
the
think
thing is, look,
Meghan Markle...
The country isn't overall racist.
No, and I think Meghan Markle branding
Go
us a
on.
racist country and attacking the institution of the monarchy is racist.
It's unfair.
I think
It's
actually,
unfair.
I think
Totally unfair.
She is what I would call a race baiter.
What do you mean by that?
If she doesn't produce hard evidence to support these incendiary claims, she becomes a race baiter, exploiting racism and the issue of racism to act as a kind of protective shield around her and to make herself extremely rich and famous as a professional victim.
Come on now, dog.
Last word to Di Davis. Di, just as somebody who has been around the royal family for many, many years, how do you feel about the way the reputation of the royal family is being so traduced in this way?
Well, I'm appalled, frankly. Some people see racism around the corner. Racism is in Africa, it's in India, it's in every continent. And so to pick on the royal family in this way is both insulting and it's also insulting. Most of the media are very decent people. I know a huge amount of people for the last 50-odd years in the media. Most, like you and I, are decent people.
So that was a lie.
To vilify both the royals, the media, and the nation, and somehow imply we're all racist is nonsensical, in my opinion. And I just despair that there are so many who will take the word of proven liars and then translate it into this issue about racism.
Yeah, right.
And you were around the Queen a lot on this suggestion that she was some covert racist herself. What do you say to that?
Good question.
Unbelievable nonsense.
Thank you, Di. Appreciate you joining me. Thank you, Sharon, over there in LA. Hope to catch up with you soon. Thank you, Mom, for joining me. I appreciate it.
Boring, uninspiring, interminable waste of time. Believe it or not, this couple is still complaining. From the Montecito mansion with their 2 beautiful, perfectly healthy children, a little chicken coop and flower garden out back, matching Uggs for Meghan and her toddler, all royal titles still intact, complete with matching stationery, and nearly $200 million in the bank thanks to their insatiable desire to finally tell their story. Finally tell their story. Like to Oprah, and on Spotify, and in New York Magazine, and in a memoir, and, well, you get the point. They have to do it, you see, because no one knows the whole story. The whole story. No one.
This has always been so much bigger than us.
No one knows the full truth. We know the full truth. The institution knows the full truth, and the media know the full truth because they've been in on it.
Okay, so Harry and Meghan know, and the entire royal family knows, and the press, who informs the public, they know, and the guy at the Sunoco, he knows, and the waiter at Olive Garden, he knows too, and that's all that knows. No one else knows the full truth. So they have to finally tell it. Okay. And what is their chief complaint, pray tell? It appears to be that the press has occasionally been not nice to Meghan Markle. After months of ubiquitous fawning coverage that made her a household name, some then said nasty things, like calling her the C word, and the B word, and the other B word. And you know what, Meg? Been there. Quick reminder.
Megyn Kelly's really biased.
Come on now, dog.
Kelly's really biased against me. Do you really think she can be fair at a debate?
Which set off a new torrent of tweets.
80,000 tweets directed towards Megyn Kelly. Broke it down to see what the most popular words.
Crazy Megyn Kelly.
Crazy.